Well, good morning, boys and girls. Hey, guess what? You discovered Buckeye Wars. This is a series that I've put together, telling little stories, little snippets, little memories of what it was like for me growing up in El Dorado Hills, California, back in the 70s and the 80s. So, as a kid, did you ever have a garden? Ever grow anything? No, I don't mean weed. Although I did have a couple friends that tried to do that. You know, I had a friend, crazy son bitch. He grew weed in his closet inside the pockets of his robe. Oh my God. Back in the days, you were either regular or you were a stoner. He was a stoner. Nice guy. I liked him a lot, but it was crazy. And yeah, somehow or another, he I don't know too many details, but apparently he put soil in the pockets of his robe in his closet and grew a little weed plant enough to get, I don't know, a couple of leaves to dry and smoke. It was crazy. Anyway, did you ever have a garden? Now you see, El Dorado Hills, kind of ritzy, a little bit ritzy at the time, and didn't really, it wasn't really a thing for at least my friends and so forth to uh, take up any real estate like in the backyard to have a garden, because it was all about looking pretty, looking better than the Johnsons, having a pool or really nice trimmed hedges and really green grass with no crabgrass type of thing. But I was Bobby Peters. I wanted a garden. So I made me a little garden, kind of off to the side and trying not to piss off my dad by taking up some real estate in the backyard. But yeah. See, my grandma back in Illinois, she, goodness, she grew everything. Grandma and Grandpa had a farm. Ranch? No. I guess they called it a farm. They grew soybeans. They grew oats. They grew corn, the kind that you would have for cattle feed or whatever other animal eats corn. I don't know. And they lived in a trailer on their property. And Grandma always had a humongous garden. So gardening was kind of in my blood, because we would go visit Grandma and Grandpa in the summer because my parents were teachers, and we'd have the whole summer off. So Mom, Dad, my brother, and I would go see Grandma and Grandpa and stay with them on the farm. And my grandpa would have us boys riding on a tractor and chasing the cows and feeding the cows and attending to the farm. But Grandma, she'd be working in that garden, and boy, she grew everything. She even grew rhubarb, made rhubarb pies. Oh, if you've never had a rhubarb pie, you need to figure out some way to get yourself a rhubarb pie. Now, rhubarb is tart, so my grandma would mix it with strawberry. So, strawberry rhubarb pie. That shit'll roll your eyes back in your head. It's so good. Anyway, back to my story. I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing with my garden, but I knew that growing radishes, excuse me, got the hiccups. Radishes was easy. So I remember growing radishes. I also remember growing cucumber. I grew little bitty pickles. It was awesome. Little bitty pickles. And I picked them because I was all excited. I guess if I left them on the vine, they probably would have got into pretty decent size, maybe 6-inch cucumbers. But I was excited. I picked them suckers when they were about the big as my thumb. And cucumbers and radishes. And I can't remember growing much else. There wasn't much else that I probably did. I probably had other stuff in the garden, but that's about all I can remember is those radishes. My God, they grew so fast it was silly. And then having those little pickles growing was really, really cool for a kid. Nowadays, hell, I'm going to be 60 in June here next month. It's almost May, so in June I'll be 60. My son, he's going to be turning 22 in just a matter of a few more days here in May. He's got the bug. He's got the bug. I've been growing peppers, super hot peppers, in buckets year after year after year. And for several years I wasn't. And a buddy of mine got me started again. So I got, I had, I don't know, probably 10 different buckets out there growing super hot peppers. And my son, he kind of was watching me, and he liked the fact that I was doing that. And he says, "Dad, how come you're not using the plot next to the shed? The one that you and Uncle Wheatley amended the soil, and you used to use that all the time." And I said, "Son, I'm older. It's a pain in the ass to get out there and turn the soil and deal with the actual dirt in Mother Nature's ground. It's so much easier to go buy a bag of dirt, pour it in a bucket, stick the damn thing in it, and just water it." And he says, "Dad, I'll turn that soil. I want to use the plot." I says, "What? You want to?" He says, yeah, it looks like fun. We are currently, because of his bug, getting the bug, kind of like how people get the gold bug and then they're addicted to panning for gold. Well, he got the gardening bug, and now he's addicted to gardening. We're growing everything. He's even growing corn. He just come back from the nursery. Celery, strawberries. He bought 4 melons, and I told him, "You want to put 1 melon in the mouth." Damn, man, he put 4. Anyway, thank you for Buckeye Wars.